Alright, it's my review of the Electrolux dryer. I see I have a lot of dryers that are very similar. I imagine the build is probably pretty close to the same, especially the difference between a electric steam dryer and a regular electric. The only difference is a little mister, usually. So this is all going to be pretty much the same for most Electroluxes that I've seen. As for pros, let's go with pros. It's really nice. The little push to open thing works very smooth, very nice. The drum itself, it's hard to tell with this video, but it's very, very deep. They were managed to be able to run the drum nearly to the very, very back of the dryer, which is nice. I mean, I'll give you that. Filter-wise, the filter's a little bigger than a lot of the filters that are inside the doors. A lot of the inside the door filters are much smaller than that, so that's pretty nice. A lot of good digital controls, pretty easy to understand. Sometimes some dryers get way too complicated. Very easy to understand controls. And as far as, I'm a repair guy, so as far as the other thing I thought was a very good new design is where you hook the wires up to the dryer. If you were to accidentally drop one of these screws in a regular dryer, it's a big problem. It'll fall down and fall behind the drum. There's nothing you can do. Well, what they've done here, it falls into a little funnel, and the little funnel comes out right on the bottom, right here. You can see it. Real great idea. True. Whoever came up with that, really great idea. Temperature-wise, it doesn't go as hot as some of the older dryers do. It kind of works like a GE dryer, or any of the newer dryers, honestly. None of them actually get very hot anymore compared to what the old ones would do. That could be good or bad, depending on your personal view on that. More harmful to clothes to get them extremely hot, so that's the bad part. That's the good part of it being lower temperature. Bad part is it takes usually a little bit longer to dry. I did dry some clothes, and I thought it was drying at a very reasonable speed. And it's also, this dryer, I'll go ahead and I'll show you why I'm back here, had a burned up heating element. And one thing I discovered with this one is a lot of dryers most dryers have one heating element. The heating element comes on and turns off when it gets the temperature, and then comes on and off as it goes too low. It comes on, it's too high, it turns off. This one appears to have 3 separate, and they come on, and the reason I definitely know that it's coming on differently is it was still getting hot, but one of the heating elements was completely split, and you can see it's burned up right here. But what's nice is I guess that's how they're controlling some of the temperature. It's probably more efficient this way, so that's kind of neat. Alright, so cons of this machine. This is not a very old machine, and it has an issue. I already have it. So there's number one con, and I've looked online, and a lot of them have the error code. Oh, it's something like, it's a letter and then it's 64. And that usually means the heating element. So the main con I would say of this machine is that the heating element burns up too easy. And the reason I think this is for one, this could be because it's a triple system too, and I don't understand it fully. This wire is very thin for a heating element. Very, very thin compared to most heating elements I see. But for another, usually a heating element burns up because of lack of airflow, meaning something's obstructing it. The filter has not been replaced soon enough, or something's gotten into it in the filter area, like sometimes somebody will leave the filter off and a sock or something will get in there and it can't flow as fast, and the heating element will be getting too hot and cutting on and off too quickly, and eventually it pops it by just overuse of the heating element, overheating the heating element. Sometimes the hose will be blocked up, but I took this machine out and the hose wasn't blocked up at the lady's house, so I don't think that was the case. And from what I'm seeing online, a lot of people have the same exact issue. I think the amount of airflow through this tube is either too small, or what I was saying before, maybe this wire gauge, but maybe they had to do it this way to have that size wire. Now there's a lot of math goes into figuring out how these heating elements work, and maybe that's the gauge they had to go with. But maybe the gauge is too small. Obviously I would think that the gauge matters a lot on when they burn up. So a thinner gauge would have to burn up faster, in my opinion on it. But besides that, that's by far the biggest con I've seen. What I was saying about the latch earlier, push this and it opens, but it's also got a lock on it. So it's not like a dryer before where if you're used to, oh, I'll just open the dryer and turn it off. If it's on, you're not opening the door to turn it off. You gotta click pause or cancel, and then you'll hear it stop turning, then you can push on it a little bit and it'll turn it back off. So that's a little bit of a con, but not too much of a problem. The thing that I noticed that I thought was really weird is it's got a clear door so you can see this, but a lot of times the clothes will land on this, on the breather for the filter. The filter is breathing, the fan's obviously in the back side of this and sucking it through that way, so it's breathing through here, sucking out through a fan that way. So this is where all the breathing is happening. It's sucking in from here. And a lot of times the clothes will land and sit here for an incredible amount of time until this hook comes by, and sometimes you'll see it will hook once and the clothes will just wiggle a little bit. And it'll hook again, the clothes will wiggle a little bit, and then the third time it'll finally come off there. But I watched a piece of clothes, I thought I was going to turn it off and mess with it because it landed all the way over it and then slowly bumped back, which this could be the reason the heating elements are burning up in these, is just that. You have it wasn't really overloaded when I had it, but you could have it more overloaded than I had it and have that happen quite often. It could be every second flip it flips something onto this, and then 3 flips to get it off. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know why they didn't, like most inside filters, they usually lean them forward a little bit more than this, and they'll have this area for things to land on. So maybe that's the issue. Third thing, I have actually gone to a couple people's houses that the dryer didn't seem to be drying, but the heating element was coming on, and this new screen, this is like a fabric, had I don't know, whatever it was, I guess just very, very, very small lint. This one I actually just washed and it still looks kind of bad. But when it gets it in, it looks like it is clean, but it will not breathe through it. You can put the filter down into the machine, turn it on, reach in the back where the exhaust is, and it barely blows. So I don't know why they went with such a microscopic thin screen on these. It's just crazy how thin the screen is. Like, you couldn't poke a needle through these holes. It's just, I don't understand why they went this way. I do know that they're not the only ones. I've seen another dryer that's newer and they're going with this new idea. But I think that probably also adds to the factor why the heating elements are burning up on it. Oh, another cool thing, back to the pros. This is kind of cool. You can poke that in. How cool is that? Just weird. Cool little blue light in there too. So, alright guys, well that's my opinion. As far as dryers that I would go with, I'd consider this one if I got the full warranty. A lot of times you can get 5-year, depending on where you're getting it from. You can get an extended warranty over the top of the warranty that comes with the dryer. I would consider it. Yeah, definitely. Would I pay the amount of money that this dryer cost? Probably not. Probably not. Regular dryer does just about the same. I didn't see it doing anything special. It's just a dryer. The dryer is a drum, heating element, turns, blows air out. That's all is to it. It's not like a washer that could be doing a bunch of fancy new stuff and conserving water and all that. It's a lot of bells and whistles. But that's pretty much it. And one other thing with it is the heating element was pretty easy to get to. So I would add that to another pro. A lot of the ones that have filters on the inside, the heating elements are amazingly difficult to get to. So that's it guys. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Now again, this is my personal opinion. I have not used this machine other than to test it a few times to make sure it was fixed after I did the heating element, and I am a repair guy. I go through a lot of different washers and dryers. So that's my personal opinion as a repair guy, not as an owner that's used it for years and years. But as a repair guy, that's what I see. That's what I think. If you guys have any questions, please put them down below, and please like the video. It really helps.